We understand he survived the ultimate test.
Indeed.
Then he must no longer be referred to as number 6 or a number of any kind. He has gloriously vindicated the right of the individual to be individual. And this assembly rises to you, sir.
Which brings us back to the final episode, Fallout, the peak of McGoohan's allegorical conundrum. Indeed, if this episode can be understood at all, it is as an allegory. Christian motifs of resurrection and salvation abound in this episode, and it is by far the most surreal and complex of the series.
I feel a new man!
I'm born all over.
Give it to me, baby! Confess!
Oh, Dad, I'm your baby, Dad. You owe your baby something, Daddy.
Confess!
The bones is yours, Dad. They came from you, my daddy.
Confess! Now you hip.
Hip, Dad. Hip.
Confess!
And a hip bone.
Confess!
And a thigh bone.
Confess!
Shin bone, knee bone.
Confess!
Backbone, all yours, Dad.
Confess!
Knee bone.
Well, is Zico quite down? Dry bones is Zico quite down. Dry bones is Zico quite down. Dry bones, now hear the word of the Lord. Is Zico connected down? Dry bones is Zico connected down. Dry bones is Zico connected down. Dry bones, now hear the word of the Lord. Bone, your toe bone connected to you. Foot bone, your foot bone connected to you. Heel bone, your heel bone connected to you. Ankle bone, your ankle bone connected to you. Leg bone, your leg bone connected to you. Knee bone, your knee bone connected to you. Thigh bone, your thigh bone connected to you. Hip bone, your hip bone connected to you. Backbone, your backbone connected to you. Shoulder bone, your shoulder bone connected to you. Neck bone, your neck bone connected to you. Head bone, hip, hip, hooray!
And hear the word of the Lord.
Guilty!
The song number 48 sings, Dem Bones, is a modern rendition of a Negro spiritual song which was inspired by chapter 37 of the Book of Ezekiel. The dry bones are modern man who has lost his soul, and the men of the assembly, Dem Bones, are swept into a frenzy when number 48 sings it.
That is, lead us or go. In this connection, we have a prize. You will see that your home is being made ready. Above and beyond this, we have the means for you to desert us and go anywhere.
Like Jesus being tempted by Satan in the wilderness, number 6 is given the option to rule over the village.
All about you is yours. We concede. We offer. We plead for you to lead us.
It may very well be that what number 6 sees when he finally confronts number 1 is what he may become if he accepts the president's offer to lead them. This explains the crystal ball which number 1 hands number 6, depicting a future in which he will forever be a prisoner.
I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. I
In the final scenes, after their escape and victory dance, number 2 walks directly back into the halls of Parliament, and number 48 hitches a ride back in the direction from which he came. The butler continues to be a butler. And in the final sequence, number 6 is credited only as prisoner. He is still a prisoner to himself and a prisoner to the world. He escapes, but he is not free. So, who is number 1? You are number 6. The statement made by the number 2 in the Chimes of Big Ben that it doesn't matter which side runs the village is applicable here. Underneath all of the masks, one is looking into a mirror. It doesn't matter who number 1 is. As Walt Kelly said in his Pogo comic strip, we have seen the enemy, and he is us. Patrick McGoohan presents number 1 as the evil side of man, and one cannot escape oneself. But does number 6 get the message?
My question is, has the prisoner between the first and the last episodes actually changed any?
No, I think he's essentially the same. I think he got slightly exhilarated by the fact he got out of this mythical place and felt like doing a little skip and a dance and singing a bit, and felt very happy to be going back home with his little buddy, the butler, you know. And we never did a cut of him when that door opened. We just saw the door open, and he went in with the butler. So you never knew whether his exhilaration was lost when he saw that sinister door or not. That was left in abeyance, unfinished symphony. The greatest enemy that we have, I mean, number 1 was depicted as an evil governing force in this village. So who is this number 1? We just see the number 2s, the sidekicks. Now this overriding evil force is at its most powerful within ourselves, and we have constantly to fight it, I think. And that is why I made number 1 an image of number 6, his other half, his alter ego.
Why the double mask? Why the monkey first?
Oh, dear.
Or was there a reason?
Yeah, because we're all supposed to come from these things, you know, and it's the same as the penny farthing symbol bicycle thing. Progress, you know. I don't think we've progressed much. But the monkey thing was we're all supposed to, according to various theories extant these days, come from the original ape, so I just used that as a symbol, you know. The bestial thing, and then the other bestial face behind it, which is laughing and jeering and jabbering like a monkey. And then, of course, in the final episode, he goes back to his little apartment place, and he has his little valet guy with him, and the door opens on its own, and he goes in. Cars there and that, so you know it's going to start all over again, because we continue to be prisoners.
And that leads to my last question. What would the former prisoner be likely to do with this newfound freedom?
He hasn't got it, which is the whole point. When that door opens on its own, and there's no one behind it, exactly the same as all the doors in the village open, you know that somebody's waiting in there to start it all over again. He's got no freedom. Freedom is a myth.
The Prisoner is a surreal, allegorical, polysemic text which leaves all interpretation and formulations of meaning to the individual. It is a show unlike anything ever to air on television in its time, and is still unmatched. It is a show about and for the individual. If the world of the 21st century and beyond does become one big global village, and our imprisonment within it has no physical boundaries, then any salvation from it rests in our ability to decode our environment as well as ourselves, and in the degree to which we will resist and answer the call of being. It depends on the character of the men and women who inhabit it. As Plato said, states are as men. They are born out of human character. For Patrick McGoohan, once man is so centered that no outside force can break him, and once he realizes his own dual nature and comes to grips with that within him which is the tyrant, which creates the village, and which becomes its prisoner, and when he knows himself, then his psyche can lead him to total awareness, and he will be on the road to true freedom.